Thomas Jefferson was the third President of the United States of America from 1801 to 1809. The stability and harmony of his cabinet would never be equaled, as well as the effectiveness of government during his presidency. This was only because Congress was mostly controlled by his party, the Democratic Republicans, which, which he was the head of. This allowed the nation to pass laws quickly and get things done faster. His personality was bold and strict, but open-minded as well as thoughtful. Of course, he accomplished many great things during his presidency, as well as a few mess-ups. He was not the greatest president, but indeed one of the best and the most effective. However, I made this to sum up the major parts of his presidency and make things easier to understand. Enjoy. When he first entered office, Jefferson had to clean up after the Federalist mess that Adams had left him, such as the federal debt. In order to fix this, he would shrink the army by one-third, as well as cut our Navy ships from 25 to 7. He would also shrink the federal government by letting Congress pass laws that would help shrink the Federalist Party. This was only possible because most people in office were Democratic Republicans. The Marbury versus Madison case was an attempt by John Adams to have more Federalists as judges in the courts. When Adams had heard that most of Congress would soon become Democratic Republicans when his term ended, he hoped to fill the nation's courts with people who would be opposing to the policies of the incoming Republican administration. He was successful in appointing 39 judges, but he failed to deliver the commission to 3 new justices of the peace before his term of office ended. One of these commissions was to William Marbury. To prevent these Federalists from becoming justices of peace, Jefferson instructed his Secretary of State, James Madison, to refuse the appointment. Marbury went to the Supreme Court in an attempt to gain his post. He wanted the court to issue an order forcing Madison to give Marbury his commission. The Judiciary Act of 1789 had given the Supreme Court the power to do so. He was denied because they believed that the Judiciary Act of 1789 was unconstitutional. This case would be used as the case that would be used to grant the Supreme Court the power to veto or overthrow Congress and the President if they deemed what they were doing was unconstitutional, thus allowing them to erase the law. The Louisiana Purchase happened because France had signed a secret treaty with Spain, giving Louisiana territory to France. This was bad for America because this made France a threat to them and would cause war. War could only be stopped if New Orleans was bought from France. Instead, France only offered America the entirety of Louisiana territory for $50 million. This would put the U.S. in a great debt. This debt was to be paid for by Great Britain and at a 6% interest rate. This was extremely out of character for Thomas Jefferson because he was normally a strict interpreter of the Constitution and only did what it said you could do and normally wait for amendments. But in this case, he did not want to wait for an amendment because it could be that the deal would expire. Nowhere in the Constitution did it say that he, the president, could buy land off of another country. After Louisiana Territory was purchased, Jefferson sent out Lewis and Clark to find a waterway to the Pacific Ocean and explore the western frontier of America. Faced with harsh winters and unknown danger, they carried out their mission, but they were unable to find a passageway. Luckily, they were able to make new scientific discoveries, such as the discovery of the prairie dog and other species, as well as mapping out the western frontier. The purpose of the Embargo Act was simple: send a message to the powers in Europe saying that until the Orders in Council and the Continental System were recited, that they would no longer have loyal customers in America. The act specifically stated that American ships could could carry cargo in no foreign port, and that foreign ships could not load any cargo into American ports. This would only hurt Americans by driving up land prices. This was partially because the English and French had no need to trade with them a couple of months after this was passed because of a lucky planting season. What makes an effective president? And what are the parallels that we can draw between President Jefferson and President Obama? An effective president, from Thomas Jefferson's viewpoint, is that you have to be able to lead and make and ease problems with other nations. Something that Obama has done very well in his time. Does politics trump policy for for elected officials? It always does. That's the way politics has worked. And the Constitution was meant to be interpreted strictly according to Jefferson.